because you're yelling.
So is the baby.
Okay, so you're a man.
Did that motherfucker pay extra to yell?
Okay.
No.
Actually, you stupid ass bitch, I did not pay extra. I am considered a carry-on. Ooh, someone's mad. Shut the fuck up.
Hey beautiful people, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria David and I'm back with another interesting video. This video is super interesting and I want to play that first part of the video to the end so that you understand what this video is all about. But first, this is a warning. I want you to brace up, okay? Because you literally want to punch this guy's face before you finish watching this video, but just watch it to the end and we'll come back and talk about it.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to me about being fucking okay?
Okay, because you're yelling.
So is the baby.
Okay, so you're a man.
Did that motherfucker pay extra to yell?
Okay.
No.
So,
Fuck you and shut up.
no.
You're disturbing me now. I don't give a fuck. You were sitting there watching that motherfucking baby cry for 45 something.
Okay.
That shit didn't have nothing to do with nothing.
Okay.
Fuck lower that baby's voice.
Okay. I think
grown-ass man.
it's out there. What happened? I'm sorry, y'all.
Fuck arrest me.
I'm sorry.
I'm tripping. Fuck that.
Baby. Baby.
They put cuffs on that kid. I'm good with going to jail.
Ain't nobody putting no cuffs on the child.
Fuck the kid. It's the
It's a
same.
child.
The
You're
kid
a grown
made.
man.
Yes, you are motherfucking right because nobody was going to do
You talk to
something.
somebody in full
That's
body.
fine. That's fine. I'll
Okay,
talk to
the baby
the
won't be
fuck I
talking.
want.
You have somebody to talk to.
Good. Good. No good, no fucking problem. I know an attorney just like you, motherfucker. I got rights. Now we work it the fuck out. We had to go through all the.
I have a lot to say about this topic. I know you also have a lot to say. Can you kindly put what you have to say down in the comment section? A lot of people stitched this video. To be honest, I got confused and they were interesting, making sense. I want to play their stitches first before I talk about my own opinion about this video. So kindly watch their stitches, then I'll talk about what I think about this video.
So is the baby.
Okay, so you're a man.
Did that motherfucker pay extra?
Couldn't have been me because I would have whooped that nigga ass. You ain't finna start yelling like this about my kid crying and your bitch grown bald ass is sitting up here screaming like this. I would have had to Mike.
You're yelling.
So is the baby.
Okay, so you're a man.
Did that motherfucker?
Oh, I cannot watch that video without wanting to just rain punches down on that piece of shit. I mean, who gets that upset about a baby on a plane? It's a baby. Babies cry. Their ears pop. It's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's painful for them. You just be patient with them. I mean, this guy, that's not even a man. As far as I'm concerned, people want to talk about gender and identifying. That is not a man. That's a bitch. And I would like to know if he's here on TikTok because I will tell him he's a bitch. Somebody give me a ticket. I will fly to his house and tell him what a little bitch he is and punch him in his mouth as hard as I can. Who gets that upset about a crying baby? I wish somebody had done this when my kids were babies. Oh, I do.
Fuck you and shut up. You're disturbing me now. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'm fully convinced that the number one problem in society is that we made it too easy for people to get out of a good ass whooping when they deserve it, bro. Like nowadays, people feel like they can say whatever, do whatever to whomever because they can either record or call the police and act like they're a victim, or they can say they fear for their life and then turn into fucking quick draw McGraw, bro. That's the real reason why we don't have no good gun control, because people know they're gonna get their ass whooped. Plain and fucking simple, bro. Too many people be out here running their mouth when they need a foot up their ass, bro. That's the fucking problem. We need to start coming together as a collective. And just when we out in public and see belligerent people like this just being dumb, disrespectful, whoever decides to whoop their ass, we just reward that person. Like, oh, we at a store and somebody in line just being ignorant to the cashier. Whoever decides to whoop their ass, we like pay for their groceries or something and just let them go on about their day. And whenever the police show up, we all just act like we ain't see shit.
They put cuffs on that kid. I'm good with going to jail.
I wanted to make this video for my followers who have kids. But before we get started, man, I really think in the world today, like, I've just decided, and yes, it's abrupt, but whatever. I've decided that I want to try to, like, address things. I mean, look, there's a time and a place to be savage. There's a time and a place to, but right now, I just don't feel like this is the time and the place. And so the way that this man is acting, like, number one, there are some people in the world that are going to take that to be representative of an entire group of people, which is really messed up. And number two, we don't know what kind of day this man was having. We don't know what was going on in his life. And honestly, it looks like someone who this was their last straw. If you want me to go deeper, sometimes when we're in relationships with certain people, it's not safe for us to express our frustration with them directly. So sometimes we express it with other people. And I'm not saying the person he was in a relationship, you know, that's a lot of conjecturing. All I'm saying is he is in a relationship with something somewhere where he is upset with that something and cannot directly address it. So it's much easier to address it to something weaker, like a baby, which is also why parents hit their kids. But let's continue moving on. To my followers who have children, I will never know what it's like to be in the situation where your child is crying and people are around and they're looking at you. I will never know the shame and embarrassment. But I do know what it's like to feel shame and feel embarrassed for something you don't have control over while other people are judging you. And in this society, we judge parents who have children that are just being children in public, partly because our society, specifically American society, that just does not love children. Like, America has an active disdain and just doesn't care. Children are expendable in America. And there's a way that Americans want their children to behave, and if they don't, then they engage in the worst treatment of them to get them to behave properly. And I know this happens in other countries as well, but here it's particularly gruesome. And so I may not know what that's like, but I do. I know what it's like to be made fun of or to be judged for something that you don't have control over while other people are judging you. And if we would just understand that, like, number one, you're in a public place. Children are allowed to be children in public. If your dogs can bark all loud and stuff and jump up all over people, I'm not trying to be negative about it. I'm just saying there's a huge double standard. But to the parents that follow me, y'all, you don't have to feel guilt and or shame for your children being children. And I'm sorry for the way that some of us tend to act around you in these situations.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to...
I don't always give my opinion on things, and it's probably not even that serious, because it is. When I first seen the video, it was kind of funny. Oh, did the baby pay extra to cry? Da da da. But then I kind of started thinking, you know, laws now making women have babies, stores running out of formula, people acting like this on planes when they hear babies crying. It's like you want to make women have babies, but then when babies are here, we don't have the resources to take care of them. Foster care is terrible for children because a lot of children get sexually assaulted, physically abused, all that stuff, neglected, dying in foster care, all that stuff. And then, you know, people act like this when there's a baby crying on the plane. Obviously, the baby can't help it. The baby doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know where he's at. It's a baby. So it just kind of makes me think.
You're yellow.
So is the baby!
Okay, so you're a man.
Did that mother...
Good. I'm glad that baby ruined your flight, you salty prick. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a mantrum. It's a man tantrum. If you are that fucking pressed about an infant crying, you need to be flying on a fucking private airline, bro. Because that shit ate your lunch. And we're talking about an infant where everything is terrifying. Everything is new. They have no control over anything. And she's crying. Big fucking deal. I'm on a plane. I hear an infant crying. You cry as loud and as long as you need to, sweetheart. And if I was walking down the aisle and I passed that mom, I would probably ask her if she needed anything. Like, what do you expect her to do? Smother it? It's 2023 for crying out loud. Put on some headphones, you moron. And one last thing, because I feel like I'm seeing a lot more of this, okay? If I'm ever out in public and one of my little girls starts having a tantrum or a meltdown and I'm doing the best that I can to control the situation and someone comes up to me or one of my little kids and starts screaming in their face, you're gonna be missing some fucking teeth. I can promise you that.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to...
Alright, now here's my hot take on this. I completely understand being frustrated when someone disturbs your peace. But the question I have is, okay, so I have a brother-in-law with Down syndrome. He can be really loud and vocal. I have another family member with dementia. They can be loud and disturb the peace as well. But I highly doubt, or rarely do I see, somebody on a plane yelling at someone with Down syndrome to be quiet and getting upset at them. Nor do I think we would yell at an elderly person for just simply being a nuisance or just existing. But people are so quick to get angry at babies and children because they cannot defend themselves. You're gonna get mad at a literal child who has intense emotions. They have the intense emotions just like adults do, but they don't know how to necessarily control those emotions. They don't understand why their ears hurt. They don't know that they have like only 15 minutes left in the flight and why they're so tired. They don't understand. If you're a fully functioning adult, you should be able to have control of your emotions. You can wear earbuds, you can listen to music, but if you're gonna get mad at literal infants and children, then you need to get mad at special needs people and the elderly too. If you're just being mad at anyone who inconveniences you. But I'm guessing you're not gonna do that.
So is the baby!
Okay, so you're a man.
Did that motherfucker pay extra?
Well, this has nothing to do with paranormal content. Just don't be that guy. Do you know how hard it is for parents traveling with kids in the first place? You'd think that they're not stressed out that their kid is acting up on a plane? That is some ridiculous entitled shit, and I don't care who you are. That's nonsense. Give the parents and that kid a break. It's a baby, okay? It's a baby.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to...
This video perfectly demonstrates what individualist self-centered thinking and lack of emotional control looks like. Now, I don't know if he has never flown before or taken public transportation, but babies cry. And if you're thinking, oh, well, it must have been for like an excessive amount of time, he goes on to say that it had been 40 minutes, which yes is excessive, but when you talk about the grand scheme of how long a flight can be, 40 minutes isn't that long. And his response to all this annoying noise was to raise his voice and lose his shit. So he was then louder than the baby. Sir, if you stepped onto public transportation and expected the public to acquiesce to your comfort levels, you have made a big mistake. I don't know what he hoped to accomplish by screaming at the top of his lungs for the rest of the plane to deal with, but I'm certain that that was much more disruptive than the baby crying. Because anybody who gets this loud and upset over an infant crying on an airplane has some serious emotional problems and probably shouldn't.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to...
Oh, hell no. It is already so hard to fly with kids. Like, if you don't have kids and you've never flown with them, then you may not understand, but it is so hard. And before you even go, you're stressed out about your kids being good on the flight. Like, what if they cry the whole time? Or what if they throw a fit? Or that's things that's already going through a parent's mind. And then when they have somebody stand up and act like this, or sit, I think the person's actually sitting, acting like this, all that does is just stress the parents out more. Like, you know, they're trying. So this is what I would do. If there is a baby crying and the parents or parent is obviously not getting through to try to calm the baby down, why don't you offer to help? I have seen many people on flights, a complete stranger, walk up and be like, hey, can I help you? Can I hold the baby? And guess what? 99% of the time, the baby calms down. And yes, that's not your responsibility. But instead of making a big old scene on a flight, maybe just help. Just be kind. Be nice. I was a single mom, and I flew back to Idaho, well, to Washington from the Virgin Islands alone with my 3 kids, and I was terrified. I'm like, what am I going to do if one of them loses their mind, like, and starts crying and screaming? And I was so worried. So I can only imagine how these parents felt. Do better. Be better. Like, there's no reason for that. Just help. And it would solve everybody's problems, because I can guarantee the parents do not want to sit there and listen to a screaming baby. I promise you they don't. It's not their joy of the day. That's my 2 cents.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to...
And y'all wonder why
people don't want to have children anymore. America is such an unfriendly place for children and for the families that choose to have them. The amount of anxiety a parent must feel when they have to travel with a baby is unreal, thanks to y'all, adults who should be able to emotionally regulate, but you can't. Now, I know there's two sides to this. No one wants to hear a screaming baby. I've had babies. I know how hard it is to listen to them cry and cry and cry nonstop. It's not easy. But sometimes people have no choice. They have to get from point A to point B, and sometimes getting on a plane with a baby is preferable than driving 10, 12 hours with the same small child. The Republicans want to get rid of abortion rights. They want to make it so you can't even get birth control. This is the reason why you are going to see a sharp decline in the birth rates in this nation. Pretty sure it's already happening, but there's no place that's friendly. You can't even take your kid to a restaurant without someone complaining about it. And I'm talking about a regular restaurant, not a fancy place, adults only, a brewery. You even have adults complaining about children being at Disney World, a place that was originally geared towards them. Like, I don't understand the animosity towards children. If I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I'd have kids in America. I really don't, because y'all don't like kids. Y'all barely like yourselves.
With a baby in a goddamn echo chamber, and you want to talk to...
That video is disturbing. It's okay to not want kids, and it is okay to not like kids. It is okay to be disgusted by kids. Honestly, like that, if you look at my little messy kid and you're like, that's so gross, that's okay, that's your opinion. But to verbally yell and act that way on an airplane because a child is crying, like, you need help. And I can't imagine the shame and embarrassment that mother felt, and the way that you made her feel, because a grown man forgot to bring headphones. You have rights against the baby. Is the baby going to go to jail for crying because you have rights? There's a good chance you'll be on the do not fly list, and that sucks for you. But the good thing is that there won't be a baby in your car.
It is super exhausting hearing a baby crying after you've pet them, crying continuously. It is very exhausting. It is super exhausting traveling with them, because normally the mother already have anxiety, like, oh my god, my child is not going to cry all through. They're already ready. Will be ready, like, bring snacks, bring games, bring phones, cartoons, a whole lot of things just for their kids or their baby not to cry. But you don't have control over this baby. You do not have control over it. If you do everything for them, they will still cry if they want to cry. Okay? But then it is not always the mother's fault. They are just being babies. And crying on the plane, the mother is already exhausted, she's sad, and you raising your voice like that, I can imagine how she's going to feel. She's going to feel super sad and super... I'm sure if she want to travel again, she might, because of what happened, she might not want to travel again with her child, because she will want her child to, like, grow to a stage that the child can talk before she can be able to travel with her child. You guys should do better. Like, you men, I know some of you don't like children. Some of you don't want to even, can't stand children. Some of you hate children, to be honest, or they disgust you. But then you're in a public space. Children are allowed. You're in a public space where children are allowed. So you have to learn to control your emotions. If you can't control your emotions, how do you want these children or these babies to be able to control their emotions? So while mothers are getting prepared for their babies not to cry, getting games, snacks and all of that, cartoons and all of that, you as an adult, why can't you just get your earplug, your earpiece? Also get them, let them be part of your hand luggage. Like, oh, anything can happen. I have to just plug my ear if I don't want to hear any conversations, or I don't want to hear any noise, you know. Also be prepared when you're going on a plane. Like, it's normal for you to just do that. So you won't get pissed off like this. And the way he reacted, I felt like he was already angry before maybe on before getting to the plane, just got triggered by that and decided to just lose it because so much. This is not the first time I'm seeing people complaining about babies crying on the plane, but this is the first time I'm seeing this type of video that someone will actually shouts like that, especially a grown-up man shouting like that. I mean, you can do better. Like, it is so unfair. It's so unfair. Please be nice. And trust me, this is one of the reasons why people are going child free, because why would you oh my god, this video was funny at the point and was annoying at the point. It's just mixed feelings for me. Let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you all. As I said earlier, my name is Maria Davis, and thank you so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.